Hello everyone and welcome to another video on Theme Park UK. My name is Jack and today we are going to be looking over various different terms used within the theme park community and what they mean. This video is intended to try and educate some people who are interested in learning more about the industry and integrate within the community, but aren't actually sure what some of the subject specific language used actually means. A few of these terms and examples are UK orientated, just due to the fact that that's where the majority of my audience comes from, but most of these terms are used universally in English speaking countries at least anyway. So we'll get straight into it here with our first term, which is airtime. Now this is the sensation of weightlessness usually caused by an element called an airtime hill. In basic terms, airtime is where you feel like you're out of your seat on a ride. Amusement park. A location containing rides and attractions, but generally has no specific theme or themed areas. Examples include Blackpool Pleasure Beach and Cedar Point. Annual or season pass. A purchasable ticket which allows entry into a park or multiple parks for a defined period of time, usually an operating season or a calendar year. Block section. Sections of a roller coaster track are split into parts called block sections. These block sections usually begin and end at a set of brakes, chain lift or launch. It allows multiple trains to run on a circuit at once without collision. Capacity. Capacity, sometimes referred to as throughput, is how quickly people can be shifted through a certain ride or attraction. It is usually referred to in riders per hour. Chain lift. A chain lift is the traditional method of taking a roller coaster train up an initial incline. The train is run up a motor up the lift hill, to which the underside of the train attaches, and therefore enables it to ascend up the incline. Clone. The word clone refers to a roller coaster which is a copy of an already existing coaster, or a specific ride layout that has been used multiple times. For example, the new 10 Inversion coaster at Flamingoland has a cloned layout of the original Colossus at Thorpe Park. Dark ride. A dark ride is a ride that is fully or mostly enclosed within a building, therefore allowing special scenes and effects to be built up around it. Whilst the traditional meaning of a dark ride refers to tracked rides that guide guests through different areas, such as a ghost train or duel at Alton Towers for a more specific example, it can also refer to enclosed roller coasters, such as the Walking Dead the ride at Thorpe Park. Digipass. This is a product that Merlin Entertainment offers at their theme parks, which allow unlimited digital photos for a set period of time. Dive coaster. A dive coaster is a coaster model produced by roller coaster manufacturer B&M. The main feature of a dive coaster is a 90-degree vertical drop with a holding brake at the top. The best example of a dive coaster is Oblivion at Alton Towers due to its simplicity, but newer dive coasters include other elements like inversions. Dueling coaster. Two entire roller coaster circuits built near each other in such a way that the trains on each circuit interact with each other. An example would be the now removed Dueling Dragons at Universal Orlando. Ejector Airtime. The sensation of airtime which feels you're being forcefully ejected out of your seat. It is usually a quick burst of airtime rather than it being over a sustained period of time. ERT stands for extra ride time. This is when a select group of people get extra time to experience certain rides or attractions when the park isn't open to regular guests. E-stop simply stands for emergency stop. Once this is activated, the trains will stop at the next convenient stopping place, such as a brake or on a lift hill. Family coaster. A roller coaster designed for young people and usually their parents as well. As the name implies, it is designed to be enjoyed by the entire family and are not considered very thrilling. Fast track. Fast track, known by other names across different parks, is the idea of a system that enables a rider to skip the main queue by either paying or registering for a free time slot like Disney's Fast Pass. Final brake run. This is the last set of brakes on a ride which slows the train to a stop or near stop before entering the station. Flat. A flat or flat ride are generally thrill rides at a theme park which aren't roller coasters. They have stationary bases to which ride vehicles usually move around. Floater airtime. The sensation of airtime which feels like you're floating out of your seat. It is usually sustained over a longer period of time and also isn't as harsh as the aforementioned ejector airtime. Floorless coaster. A regular sit-down coaster featuring trains with no floor, so riders' legs dangle above the track. An example is Bizarro at Six Flags Great Adventure. Flying Coaster, a type of coaster which positions riders in a prone position, facing the ground. An example is Galactica at Alton Towers. Footchopper, the sensation on the ride where your legs hang below the vehicle, for example a wing coaster, where you come close to an object and it feels like you could have hit your feet. G-force, this refers to the level of force acting upon you on a ride. It is directional, so can be lateral, vertical, etc. Giga Coaster, a roller coaster that exceeds 300 feet in height. GP stands for General Public and is used by enthusiasts to refer to those who don't have much knowledge on the subject. This can be used in a derogatory way. Hangtime, the sensation of coming out of your seat whilst upside down. Headchopper, when a rider feels like they are going to hit their head due to close interaction with an object. This is usually done using theming items to create a greater feeling of danger. However, there is actually no risk of riders hitting their heads whatsoever. An example of this would be the billboard on the Swarm at Thorpe Park. Home park, commonly regarded as the closest park to a person's home, but can also be used for the park that a person visits most often. Hybrid coaster, a roller coaster that uses steel track on a wooden support structure. Examples include Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point or Untamed at Wallaby Holland. Hybrid roller coasters are sometimes referred to as RMCs, as the most popular manufacturer of these coasters is Rocky Mountain Construction, or RMC for short. Hydraulic launch. A hydraulic launch is a type of launch technology which provides rapid acceleration. An example of a coaster using this technology is Stealth at Thorpe Park. Hypercoaster, a roller coaster which exceeds 200 feet in height. Intellectual property, or IP. A brand being used within a park which is not original content created by the park themselves. For example, the Walking Dead theme used at Thorpe Park. Inversion, an element on a roller coaster which puts riders upside down. Inverted coaster, a roller coaster which runs the train below the track instead of above it like a traditional coaster. The most popular manufacturer of inverted coasters is B&M. Examples include Nemesis at Alton Towers and Alpengeist at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Kiddie Coaster, designed to be a child's first roller coaster and is targeted towards very young children. Kiddie coasters generally provide no thrills to anybody apart from that target audience. Lap bar, a type of restraint that covers the rider's lap, keeping their upper body free. LSM stands for Linear Synchronous Motor, which is a type of launch technology that propels the train using electromagnets. You can usually spot these launches by the gradual nature of them, rather than the quick burst of acceleration. An example of a coaster using an LSM launch is Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. MAP stands for Merlin Annual Pass. It is an annual pass that can be purchased in order to access all of the attractions owned by Merlin Entertainments for a calendar year. This includes Alton Towers and Thorpe Park. Mid-course brake run, a set of brakes on a roller coaster to slow the train in the middle of a ride layout. Marathoning. Marathoning is the term used by enthusiasts when they ride a coaster multiple times in a row, usually when there is little queue. ORP stands for On-Ride Photo. Here is an example of one of mine. OTSR stands for Over the Shoulder Restraints. These are the type of roller coaster restraints which pull down over your shoulders and across your body. Pay-per-play games. Typical fairground style games found at parks which require an additional charge for each game you play. Powered coaster. A coaster model which is powered throughout the entire course rather than getting its energy through the layout from gravity like typical roller coasters. Because of this difference, it is debated whether powered coasters even count as roller coasters. Racing coaster, where two or more separate roller coaster circuits are next to each other and the trains race each other to see who finishes first. For example, Grand National at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Removed, a ride which is permanently closed and has been removed from where it once resided. Ride Op, a park employee who controls a ride, for example dispatching, monitoring for issues, etc. Rollback, when a train rolls backwards after failing to complete an element. SBNO stands for Standing but Not Operating. This means a certain ride or attraction is still in place at a park but is currently closed, usually for a long period of time. This can refer to a temporary ride closure awaiting reopening, or a permanent ride closure awaiting removal. Shuttle Coaster, a coaster which is not a full circuit but rather travels backwards to the station instead. One of the most popular models of this coaster type is the Vekoma Boomerang. SLC stands for Suspended Looping Coaster. This is a roller coaster type manufactured by Vekoma. It is very similar to an inverted coaster. Spinning coaster, a coaster model which features independently spinning trains. An example is Spinball Whizzer at Alton Towers. Stall, when a train fails to complete an element due to a factor that has made it lose momentum. This usually causes the train to roll back out of that element and come to a stop. Stand-up coaster, a coaster which uses specialised trains and which riders are made to stand rather than sit down like traditional roller coasters. Stapled, when yourself or a member of ride staff push down your restraint too far so you don't feel the full forces of a roller coaster. Steel coaster, a roller coaster made out of steel. Strata Coaster, a roller coaster that exceeds 400 feet in height. There are currently only 2 of these in existence. Station, the area where riders board and leave the trains of a roller coaster. Theme park, a location containing rides and attractions with specific themes for those rides and usually the areas they are situated in, for example the Disney parks or Alton Towers. Theming, added details around a park or certain ride which add to the experience, usually as the name suggests, set to a particular theme. This can be done using visual pieces, audio and even people. Thrill coaster, a roller coaster built for the purpose of being thrilling to most people. These rides are usually not suited to children and families and instead are aimed at teens and young adults. Trim brakes. Trim brakes are brakes found throughout a ride which are used to control the train's speed rather than stopping the train completely. Train, the entire ride vehicle on a roller coaster. Trains usually consist of multiple cars and are connected to form the train. Transfer track, a piece of track usually found in or near the station area of a roller coaster which is able to move to an adjacent piece of track in order to transfer trains in and out of the circuit. Upstop wheels. Upstop wheels are a type of wheel on a roller coaster train which runs above the track in order to keep the train on the track during various elements. VR coaster, a roller coaster which employs the use of virtual reality headsets in order to add to the ride experience. An example would be the Great Lego Race at Legoland, Florida. Vest restraint, a variation of the over-the-shoulder restraint. Walk-on. This term refers to when there is no queue for an attraction, therefore being able to walk through the entire queue and onto said attraction. Water coaster, a coaster model which incorporates sections involving water, usually featuring parts where the ride vehicle is used as a boat and splashdown sections. An example would be Speed at Energylandia. Wild Mouse. A Wild Mouse is a coaster model which usually includes very sharp turns and some airtime hills. It is a very common model, with an example being Coasterrider at Knott's Berry Farm. The trains are usually single cars with limited capacity. Wing coaster. A coaster model where riders are seated at the sides of the track. An example would be the Swarm at Thorpe Park. And wooden coaster, a roller coaster made out of wood. An example would be Wicker Man at Alton Towers. So that's all the terms that I have got for today. I probably missed some, but I felt these were some of the most commonly used, especially in the groups that I'm in myself. I want to say thank you to everyone for bearing with me the last couple of months during my break from the channel. I was settling into sick form and didn't really have any video ideas, but I've got a few ideas now, so hopefully videos will continue over the following weeks. This is the first video like this that I've done, and I've honestly had a lot of fun making it. I hope you've learnt something and enjoyed the video. Once again, my name is Jack, my socials are down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did like the video, and I will see you all very soon.